Okay, hello guys, are you okay there? On this time I have a guest. This is Hayley. Hello Hayley.
Hi.
Yeah, Hayley is a professional English teacher from America, and then I will have a discussion with Hayley, of course, about teaching English in America because Hayley is native and English teacher there.
Yeah.
Okay, Hayley, the first question for you. What you can tell them, my audience, about teaching English in America or another country, because Hayley was in Japan to teach English. What?
Vietnam.
Vietnam too, yeah. Many places. What you can tell them about teaching English? Like experience, is that interesting, and then how did you teach the class like that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I taught university students mostly. And so I taught at like private academies, and then in the U.S. I started teaching at international like intensive English centers. And so I taught students from like the Middle East and from Southeast Asia, from all over the place. Africa, I had African students.
Oh yeah.
When I taught in the U.S., there was students from all backgrounds. And so it was interesting to see the students interact with someone from a totally different country, also learning English and having the same difficulties.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, so it was really interesting to do that.
Okay, because you have multicultural students and then a multi-background from the students, many backgrounds. Like, what country did you feel really difficult to teach? Like, maybe Japan or maybe Southeast Asia. What country did they really difficult to speak English?
I think different areas of the world have different problems. Like I would have a lot of my students from the Middle East who are really, really good at talking and listening. So their speaking skills and listening skills were really good. And then I had a lot of East Asian students from China, Korea, and Japan, and they were really good at like reading and writing. Yes, of course. But really bad at speaking and listening. So it was like completely opposite. And I think I learned more about their culture and realized their education background is so different. Like in East Asian schools, students are just quiet and they write essays. But in Saudi Arabia, they're speaking all the time, just in any subject. So I think that the backgrounds were so different. So I would often put them together in a group, and it was so interesting to see.
All these guys and like that.
Yeah, like maybe the Saudi students could talk really well, but the other students can write and like they can help with grammar. Really interesting. It was really cool.
I guess I have an answer why like Southeast Asia students, they have really good in writing or reading but not good in speaking, because when we were in school the teacher just instructed us to read and then to write. Even we never have an opportunity to speak up in front of the class. That's why that program or that habit made us like this. We just heard or we just like read English, even we don't understand or really don't understand about that. We just try to read. And then the next question is about, do you think all of the Southeast Asia students, what subject they have to learn for the first? Is that speaking? Is that listening? Or is that writing or reading?
I think, so I used to teach a conversation class.
Yes.
So that has to do with speaking and listening combined. And we would have academic discussions, we would talk about cultural topics, and I think that that is the most useful tool, because a lot of, especially from Southeast Asian and East Asian students, their problem was confidence, like not having confidence, and so those students may have English, but it's deep down. Like it's there, but they don't know how to they don't have practice like speaking it. So I think having conversations is the best way.
To improve
that. Because it also helps your confidence level.
That's so. How about like English certificate or provincial certificate like a TOEFL or IELTS? Because international students, if they want to get abroad for a college in abroad, they have to submit TOEFL or IELTS as a requirement. But in Indonesia, that's not really famous enough about TOEFL or IELTS. What do you recommend them? Do you recommend them to study IELTS or TOEFL?
I don't really really know. I think it depends on what you want to do. Like if you want to study at a university, you have to look and see what they require. But I think that the IELTS is mostly like
acceptable.
European.
European.
Yeah, it's very like European
Yes.
and also the US. But I think the TOEFL is mostly for the US.
US
right?
and Canada.
US and Canada,
Yes.
yeah. But I think the IELTS is more universally
Yeah.
accepted. But I think it depends on what school you want to go to, research what you want to do.
So it means like before applying for the university, the students have to look the requirement first. If they require the TOEFL, they have to study about TOEFL, but
Yeah.
IELTS they have to study. Okay, then because you have been in Indonesia for 2 days or 3 days?
Yeah, 4 days.
4 days. And then you met a lot of Indonesian people here.
Yeah.
What do you think about them? What do you think about English in Indonesia, especially in Yogyakarta?
I like I was very surprised because I know that Indonesia is so popular for tourists. And so I think I expected a little bit more English. But we came here and found like people weren't speaking English to us.
Yes.
And we could try like a few words
Yes.
in Indonesian and we failed at that.
So how do you give like if you want to buy something or if you want to get a direction, what did you do?
I would just like, let's say if I wanted this plant, I would like pick it and say,
Body language.
yeah, body language, all gestures. And then maybe they were like, what? Like they had no idea. And then we learn a phrase like, berapa?
Yeah,
How
much is that?
But we didn't learn the numbers. So then they would answer back in Indonesian and we were like, oh, I have no idea what that is. So we would just take out our money and they would just take.
So even they lie, you will not know about if they lie to the money.
I think at first people were like taking way too much money, and then we realized one Indonesian lady. She said to us we were paying for dinner and we paid way too much, and she said, no. This meal is only 12,000. It's not. It's So we realized though I think it's a combination. Some Indonesians are really shy about it, and that was really surprising to us because now I know I can walk up to an Indonesian person and say, do you speak English? And they might be like, but they still do. But before we thought more people would come to us, but now we know it's maybe they're a little shy about it.
Of course.
And so that's really interesting though.
Okay, then I mean like Indonesian tourism, there are many assets of tourism in Indonesia, but Indonesian people, they don't really understand or they don't have really good capability to speak up. So do you suggest them to study English, or do you suggest them to improve their English to get a better tourism progress for Indonesia?
I think so. I think just being a tourist here, like we tend to, if someone is, I think anybody who's friendly, I enjoy going to their restaurant or their shop anyway, even if they don't speak English, so it's okay. But I think if you want to really explain something about your culture to tourists, it's really helpful. Like if I'm coming to your restaurant or shopping or I'm lost, I think it helps people connect more when the tourists aren't just wandering around like kind of lost. Like if you can maybe, I don't know, I guess just improve it if you want tourists to be more interested in your culture. I think that is helpful. But also, when you travel, you should learn some of their language too.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so I don't want to say, learn English so I can come to your country.
Yes, okay. It was like a vice versa.
Yes.
As a homeland, we have to study English, and then as the tourist, we have to study the culture of the homeland.
But also, you're learning English for not people just from America. Like you're learning English for people from Africa, like around the world. That's the lingua franca, the most spoken language.
Yes, of course.
So I think it's important to connect all of these people together around that one language.
Okay, then as I have told you before that now I am trying to build my online course and then my English course. Can you give any recommendation for us, for all of my viewers or my students in online, that they have to study English in my course, or they have to study English with us in like in social media, wherever they can find information about English they can study?
Yeah.
So do you feel that it's not only go to the class or go to the school we can study English, but we can use social media, we can use YouTube, or we can use everything to get study?
Yeah.
Of course. So then for the last, can you give a suggestion to my students what they have to do for the course if they want to study English?
I would do, like, if I were living in Indonesia and wanted to improve English, I would try to figure out a way to connect with tourists, because even small towns in Indonesia are having more tourists because of Airbnb and social media.
Yes.
So I think I would find any way to try to make friends and connect with people. Like if you could have Airbnb or like couch surfing.
Yes, yes, of course. Yeah. That's really famous.
Like, I know some people in Vietnam who that's how they learned English, was they just opened their house and had like a house guest, and so like the guests came through and it motivated them to learn English more. And also I also suggest this helped me when I learned Japanese.
Yes.
I watched TV and watched Japanese shows and listened to the radio. And whenever people would speak, I would just copy everything. And that helped me with my pronunciation and things like that. But like a self-study, but also you want to stay motivated by being in touch with foreigners, using that in real life.
Okay. So this is the really last question. I am not really into my English, like I don't really believe what level I am now in my English. Can you give a level? If you can score in my English, how many score do you give to me? Like right now? Yeah, because yeah, seriously, like I don't really understand what the level right now, because the last time I did the test, it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I did IELTS test. Then I'm not sure right now how many score if you get a time to score my English for speaking and grammar at least.
I haven't really noticed. For me, what I listen for students is intelligibility. Can I understand what they're saying? And I think you speak very clearly, and your grammar is perfect. So you don't need to worry about that. Yeah.
Okay. So
but also the IELTS and the TOEFL, they're measuring like very specific academic.
Yes, academic.
Can you read this academic text and pull out answers quickly?
Yes, of course.
But that's so different from real life.
Yeah, real life.
Like it. So I
the
feel like those are
it's really different.
Yeah, you can't really rate because TOEFL is all academic.
Yeah.
But this is real life.
Yeah.
It's very different than academic.
Yeah, like when I was a student, I tried to study English by, like you, I imitated many phrases in English, and then I tried to imitate it. And wherever I have a time, I always speak like being crazy to speak English, and that's work for me like that. So
you have to take risks.
Yeah.
Like when I learned Japanese, I would just say it, even if you are afraid or you feel stupid. You just say it. Yeah. Like don't worry, because if I learn Indonesian, you aren't going to laugh at me. Like if you laugh, it's funny. Like, everybody makes mistakes.
Just don't take it personally.
Yeah, don't take it personally. Everybody messes up all the time.
Yeah, so that's the suggestion from Hayley, that you just try to begin or try to start your process to study English, and then don't be really nervous or don't be really shy to speak up or to study, because everyone has their own process to study from the basic into the intermediate or advanced maybe. But the most important, you try to begin, and then you can follow the process to be better in the future. So thank you, Hayley, for having this conversation, and really nice to see you in Indonesia. I wish that we can have a contact, and then we can have a touch, and then maybe someday we can develop like online course with Hayley in my course. That's really really cool. Yeah.
It's a plan.
Yes, okay. That's a plan. Really plan, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye.